The Los Angeles Clippers fresh off of an itinerant 7-game Grammy road trip, and they return home to Los Angeles as the winners of the most lethal threat in the West award. Tonight, back at home, as we welcome you to NBA Wednesday presented by State Farm. It's the Pelicans here taking on the Los Angeles Clippers led by Kawhi Leonard, one of the NBA's leading scorers and right now entering the MVP conversation. Meanwhile, on the other side of the ledger tonight, Brandon Ingram for the Pelicans playing some of the best basketball of his career, fresh off of a 41-point performance a couple of nights ago. Let's take a little inventory in the Western Conference. The Clippers in first place in the West for the first time, get this folks, in 3 years. Meanwhile, New Orleans just barely on the outside looking in 7th place. Hello, everybody. I'm Mark Jones alongside Richard Jefferson, George Sedano joining us in just tonight. First game of a long road trip for the Pels. Let's take a look at tonight's starting lineups brought to you by Icy Hot. McCollum and Ingram, Jones, Zion Williamson, and Valanciunas in the front court for the Pelicans. Harden and Mann in the backcourt for the Clippers. Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, and Ivica Zubac in the first game back after the 7-game road trip. Time to regroup. We'll be back right after this. It's time to see who's making it count. Brought to you by Head & Shoulders. You know, going back to December the 1st, the Clippers have the best record in the NBA, lead the league in offensive rating, field goal percentage, and three-point percentage. Kawhi averaging over 26 a game, 57%. Paul George more than doing his part. Harden the same, the trigger man for everything. Only 7 combined games missed between those players there on your screen. For more, let's go to George. They're going to call it a long two. Ty Lue saw every bit of it and calls a timeout with 2:05 to go in the opening quarter. The Pelicans come out on fire.
We're going to see his second shot here from Murphy. He's one of those guys that when he gets one going, that basket gets real big, and you can see the emotion for the Pelicans.
Hey, our NBA Saturday primetime matchup on ABC and the ESPN app as Devin Booker and the Suns taking on Steph and the Warriors. Coverage tips with NBA Countdown at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Wouldn't have been surprised, Richard Jefferson.
Not at all.
Trey Murphy lighting up the Los Angeles night with 11 points on 3 of 4 from deep.
And just here, the perfect little slip out, not allowing for the defense to switch, knocks it down. Lack of communication leads to 3 points for the Pelicans.
Such that Paul George didn't get an easy layup at the other end. Herb Jones. The H is for hustle. We get a timeout with the Pelicans leading by 15. Our ABC Sunday Showcase matchup has Jimmy Butler and the Heat taking on Jason Tatum and the Boston Celtics at 2 o'clock Eastern. Coverage tips with NBA Countdown at 1:30. Rematch of last year's Eastern Conference Finals. 1 in 7 games by the Heat. Guys, back to you. Well, after a difficult shooting January, Trey Murphy finding his rhythm. So far here in February, today's Trey Day. Big first half for him. Meanwhile, James Harden keeping the Clippers in it so far, trailing by 8. Halftime highlights and analysis coming up in a moment.
The NBA on ESPN, presented all season long by State Farm, is brought to you by McDonald's best burgers ever. Get them before the hamburger does.
Welcome back, everyone, to NBA Wednesday, presented by State Farm. Look at the iconic Santa Monica Pier in the Southern California area as we take a look at our first half stats. Brought to you by ESPN Bet. This has not been a day at the beach for the home team tonight. 44% from the field on 8 of 18 from deep. And they've turned it over 11 times. The Pelicans doing well, shooting 53% from the field. Mark Jones courtside, chopping it up with Richard Jefferson. That's going to be PG-13's second personal foul. Timeout on the floor. We'll be right back after this. Foul him, but it went to Ingram for the layup. Russell Westbrook arguing with Bill Kennedy, official, that, hey, I fouled him. Don't see that often. 8-point lead for the Pelicans when we come back.
At the NBA.
And that's the end of the third quarter of play with the Pelicans clinging to a 10-point lead. Leonard up to 14, a quiet third quarter though for Harden. As the Pelicans 12 minutes away from getting their 30th win of the season. Final quarter coming right up. Well, our NBA Saturday primetime matchup on ABC and the ESPN app has Devin Booker and the Suns taking on Steph and the Warriors. Coverage tips with NBA Countdown at 8 o'clock Eastern time. What do you make of the Suns' chances in the West right now? Burke to the Clippers tonight. He's 5 of 11 from deep to lead the way with 21 points.
And just here working together. You suck in a little bit and CJ McCollum makes you pay. Right now, the Pelicans got a good groove.
Los Angeles against the top team in the Western Conference. And to come away with a convincing 117 to 106 victory spells success and speaks volumes. James Harden had a big first quarter for the Clippers, but couldn't sustain it, as Jones did most of the damage for the visitors. Folks, stay tuned after these messages. We'll get you to SportsCenter with Scott Van Pelt. For Richard Jefferson and George Sedano, I'm Mark Jones saying good night from Los Angeles.